Welcome to Your Fantastic Mind. I'm Jay Watson. This is a show exploring the mysteries and the science of the amazing human brain. Daniel Meadows was fresh out of college and beginning the next chapter of his life when he began suffering debilitating headaches. Those headaches turned out to be a tumor, one that was very close to the area of the brain necessary for language. So Daniel did something most of us cannot imagine. He was awake for his own brain surgery.
Morning, morning.
Daniel Meadows still has moments of total disbelief.
I'm ready as can be.
All right, let's do this thing.
That all of this must be happening to someone else.
Look at my nose. How many fingers do you see?
2.
Now?
1.
Great. Give me a big smile.
Just months after graduating from Auburn University in Alabama, he is at Emory St. Joseph's Hospital, about to undergo awake brain surgery to remove a tumor. Daniel's only symptom of the tumor, crushing headaches.
I was expecting meeting Daniel that he was not going to be able to talk to me, or that he was going to have significant difficulties in creating language and communicating.
That's because the tumor took up residence right next to the part of the brain we use to create language and communicate.
You can see that this is a relatively large tumor. It's about the size of a lemon, and is, again, compressing parts of the brain.
The MRI images are reversed. The tumor is on the bottom left part of Daniel's brain, the inferior lobe, next to our communication headquarters.
Today is MRI day, active MRI day is what they call it. Apparently I'm supposed to be doing things while they have me all hooked up to see where my brain works.
We meet up with Daniel the week before surgery when he gets a functional MRI.
So we're gonna do the first task, the finger tapping. Again, just think the words to yourself. Do not speak and don't move any other part of your body.
By tapping his fingers and thinking specific thoughts, they can see which parts of his brain light up. Neurosurgeon Dr. Chris Dybert will use this to help him navigate during surgery.
That MRI you had was incredibly helpful. I think that a lot
They don't know if it's cancer. They only know they need to try to remove it, and Daniel is going to help.
We're even going to take out most of the tumor while you're still asleep, okay? Then we're going to wake you up. We'll do the testing. The guys, have they come by and kind of run through the little bit of the testing that we're going to have you do, or have they not come by yet?
I haven't seen
Okay, so they'll be by shortly.
Apple. What color? Red. Pencil.
What do you use a pencil for?
To write. 14 plus 1 is 15. 15 plus 1 is 16.
Months of the year.
January, February, March, April, May.
What is Dr. Dybert doing for you today?
He has taken out a brain tumor. So this is Paul Meadows, my father.
Nice to meet you, sir.
And then my mother is over there, Anita Meadows.
It's time to say goodbye to his parents.
We thank you, Lord, for your mighty power and who you are. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you,
All right. Love you.
Me too.
Love you, buddy. See you in a little bit.
Daniel is the baby, the youngest of 4, from a close-knit family whose passion is epic hikes around the world. But the mountain they are facing today is one they never expected. And so it comes down to what is the glue in this family: faith.
We'll do an incision that starts like this. The smaller the tumor, the more critical this is. This is a hard tumor to miss. We want to monitor how well he can talk and speak during surgery so that we don't take out part of the brain that causes his ability to talk.
"45 minutes into surgery, Daniel is awake.
Good job, Dan. It's Dr. Dybert here, okay? You're doing wonderful. Everything's going perfectly. We're going to do the testing, and then we'll let you go back to sleep here once you wake up a little more.
For 2 hours, he answers questions about where he went to dinner the night before.
What did you have to eat last night? Okay, so you went to Outback? Say Outback. Okay, very good.
Identifies objects.
Fish. Sofa. Good. Dog.
Makes conversation.
You go to school? Where'd you go to school?
Counts backwards.
7, 6, 5, 4.
All while Dr. Dibert works to remove the tumor.
So this is obviously very abnormal here. This kind of grayish color. Okay. This is normal brain here. We've had a couple speech arrests directly over top, more anterior over top of the tumor.
We can test and say we can direct an electrical impulse to the brain, and if a person can no longer speak temporarily, then we know that this is an important part of the brain, that this is an area that we can't do surgery in and we have to avoid it.
It's an unusual situation to have a doctor inside your brain while you talk sports.
So Dan, you a hockey guy? Soccer. You a Liverpool fan?
Not really.
What? Who you watch besides Atlanta? Yeah, they had a tough match.
The brain itself doesn't have any pain sensation, and it's the reason we can do this.
After 2 hours,
Dan, you're doing great, man. That's super, super helpful. You're doing awesome.
Daniel gets to sleep.
There's kind of a little bit of a hole where it was, and the brain has started to fill in that space. 100% success. His MRI after surgery showed that completely the tumor had been removed.
Daniel's language was not impacted. The surgery was a success, but the pathology overshadows that.
Now we know again that some of those cells have spread to other places, most likely.
Those cells that may have spread to other places are cancer, glioblastoma, an aggressive, high-grade tumor.
Hey, it's good to see you. You look much better than last time. Hey.
Today's the meeting with Daniel and his parents.
So as I told you in the hospital, surgery couldn't have gone any better. I mean, and that a lot of that is to your credit. Everything that I can see on the MRI is gone, okay?
There is no easy way to deliver this news.
This is some sort of glioma, okay? There is a little bit of a range of gliomas, okay? The ones that we hear most about are is a problem called glioblastoma, okay? And that's John McCain, Beau Biden, Ted Kennedy. We can't cure gliomas with surgery. This will recur at some point. No one can predict the future. As you start to kind of weave back into normal life,
Daniel works to absorb the information.
So we don't know how severe or...
It's a serious problem.
From the first day we met him, when he didn't know if his tumor was cancer, Daniel told us this.
I haven't asked why me. I mean, I don't see why it should be somebody else.
They leave Dr. Dibert's office. Their plan includes chemotherapy, radiation, and faith.
Just the next step.
Yeah.
Well, we always knew there'd be a next step, so.
One step at a time.
Daniel has finished radiation and is continuing chemotherapy. He worked full-time through his treatment and says he's feeling well. We all feel lonely or left out sometimes, and now we know that the cause could be that you're not getting enough sleep. Most experts recommend 7 to 9 hours a night, but new research shows that if you don't get enough sleep, well, you could be killing your social life. Researchers at UC Berkeley found that sleep-deprived people are lonelier and less likely to engage other people. Using functional MRI brain imaging, researchers had participants watch videos of people walking toward them. When the person got too close for comfort, they could press a button to stop the video. Those who hadn't slept enough hit that button far sooner than the well-rested. The study also found that sleep loss blunted activity in the brain regions that normally encourage social engagement. Now we have even more reason to get some much-needed rest. It's something millions of Americans do each year: get a massage. For most, it's for relaxation or to help with body stress or pain from an injury. But research is showing that massage can have a big impact on cancer-related fatigue, a condition that impacts many cancer survivors. Turns out, the science of massage is more than skin deep.
I've been very healthy all my life.
There are things 68-year-old Fred Fletcher loves, like working in a yard.
And if you look hard enough, you can find weeds everywhere.
And taking a cruise around the neighborhood in his favorite car, a red Corvette.
It's just a fun car to drive.
But those things fell away after he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. The radiation treatment was successful, but left him with relentless fatigue that made him consider retiring from his job of almost 50 years with AT&T.
I worked from home a lot, and at noon for lunch, I'd come up and take a nap. And then I'd go back to work for a couple of hours. Then I catch myself sitting in my terminal going,
high level of fatigue and low energy.
During one nap, this commercial came on.
Cancer treatments. If you're frequently bothered by fatigue and are at least
Fred joined a massage study at Emory Brain Health.
Suffering from cancer-related fatigue.
What was your experience prior to this with massage?
I had zero, none whatsoever.
It's the fourth such study in 9 years, each one showing the surprising power of massage to help different conditions.
Is everything comfortable?
I tend to be really skeptical about stuff. And so here was this entity, massage, and people were spending billions of dollars getting massages. And when I started to read about it, I said, well, what's it doing?
Dr. Mark Rappaport, the head of psychiatry at Emory, launched the first study to see how just one massage affects the body, with participants getting either Swedish massage or light touch.
So even in unstressed young normals, we saw that massage increased the number of lymphocytes and increased the number of lymphocytes that, actually white blood cells that had a marker for what's called the innate immune system, NK cells.
A single Swedish massage in a healthy person, giving the immune system a boost and lowering stress levels. The next study was with people with generalized anxiety disorder. After twice-a-week Swedish massage, participants reported significant decreases in measures of anxiety and depression, and those results lasted months after the study ended.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Rappaport and his team then moved into the world in which Fred Fletcher was living, the world of cancer-related fatigue.
Great, thank you.
The condition can affect up to 80% of people who get chemotherapy and 90% of people who get radiation treatment for cancer.
Oh, that's terrible.
This fatigue may be related to a low level of chronic inflammation.
By the time Fred signed up, Rappaport and his team had already studied massage therapy on breast cancer patients.
And what we saw was remarkable improvements in two separate measures of fatigue.
Those measures, the Multidimensional Fatigue Inventory and the NIH Patient-Related Outcome Measure of Fatigue, showed that the women found massage provided clinically significant relief.
So the question was, one, do men respond the same to massage as women? And two, do men with a very different type of cancer also with fatigue respond?
Once a week for 6 weeks, Fred got a massage.
For an hour, I was in heaven.
He also had his blood taken and rated his fatigue levels on an app.
How often do you experience extreme exhaustion? Often. How often do you run out of energy? Always.
after 6 weeks of massage.
Oh, I feel like my old self. Sunday, after church, I was outside pulling weeds for 3.5 hours. I would probably still be dragging around, lack of energy, cranky old guy.
The rubbing and kneading of muscles and joints in the body was affecting change far deeper than muscles and joints.
I think that massage is changing and modulating our immune system in a way that decreases sort of the chronic inflammatory states that occur in certain disorders. We're seeing a decrease in inflammatory markers associated with these cancer survivors who've been plagued by chronic fatigue. We need to do more analysis there, but it looks very, very positive.
9 years in, this research is making a powerful connection
I could not do this before.
that massage impacts not just the body, but the mind.
Our body influences the brain, just as the brain influences the body.
More trials will soon be underway to continue to prove that massage can relieve fatigue in many different types of cancers, giving an effective treatment option to people who need it. You don't need a study to tell you that having one of these guys in your life can make it better in so many ways. Research shows us that our feel-good hormone, oxytocin, actually increases when we interact with our dogs. Oxytocin is the hormone that bonds us to our babies. Now research is showing that therapy dogs can help decrease the symptoms of ADHD in children. In the study, half of the children attended a social skills program, and the other half went through the same program, but each had a therapy dog at their side. Both groups showed improvement after 12 weeks, but the group with dogs showed marked improvement after just 8 weeks. They experienced a reduction in inattention and an improvement in social skills. And an added bonus, their parents reported significantly fewer problem behaviors. Great news for parents looking for options to treat their child's ADHD, and really great news for kids who want a dog. It's probably one of the most common New Year's resolutions we make: exercise. How we're going to do more of it. How this time we're going to stick to it. We do it to lose weight, to reduce stress, to feel better about ourselves. But what if exercise alone could make your brain younger? According to research, that's exactly what it can do. In the gymnasium at the VA in Atlanta,
Switch to the other side.
conventional wisdom is being challenged.
No hills today, right?
Maybe a few.
That wisdom
How you been?
Good.
Yeah?
that most accept as inevitable
Everybody ready just about?
is that after a certain age,
Ruth, heart rate?
it's all downhill.
Good, keep climbing.
But research is showing us
About 10 seconds. We can make it.
that when it comes to our brains,
All right, Dee and Gail,
we can reverse that decline
you're up. You ready?
through exercise.
All right, sprint.
Doctors Joe Nocera and Keith McGregor are part of a team that's been researching exercise's effect on the brain for 10 years.
Good, keep it up a little bit longer.
So I'm really interested in language function and how the brain behaves during language function, particularly how it behaves in older adults. And Dr. McGregor is really interested in motor function, and he studies just simple finger tapping movements.
Aging people often have less motor control in their hands. They also often have trouble recalling words they want to use, called tip-of-the-tongue phenomena. Both are accepted as typical yet frustrating parts of aging. But what these VA and Emory research scientists discovered in a few older people early on in their research is that their brains functioned like those of young people. And those older people had something in common. They were all incredibly physically fit, marathon runners, elite athletes.
Do get some inferior frontal activity there.
Researchers have known for 40 years that exercise helps motor performance, but Nocera and McGregor wanted to learn how. One big difference between younger and older brains are the areas activated.
You feeling good?
Well, you look marvelous, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Dr. McGregor uses magnets to stimulate nerve cells in the brain. Called transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS, the painless procedure is FDA approved for treatment-resistant depression. But it can also be used to show how one side of the brain controls and sends messages to the opposite side of the body.
This actually will show how one side of the brain actually tells the other side of the brain to be quiet. So we call
this quieting of one side of the brain is called inhibition. Dr. McGregor demonstrates on himself.
Okay, so the area that I'm stimulating right now is called the primary motor cortex, and so when I'm stimulating, you're getting response essentially in my arm and then down to my hand.
But as the brain ages, in language and task, inhibition is lost, and both sides of the brain begin to be activated.
And this increased activity on both sides is not good. It doesn't improve performance, so it's not compensation.
And that's when language and motor skills, things we need to maneuver through life, get more difficult. Back to those super fit older people in their early studies.
We found that individuals who are highly fit actually showed brain activity very similar to younger adults. That's to say they were only activating one side of the brain and they were inhibiting the other. So,
which is the way it's supposed to be.
Which is the way it's supposed to be.
So the question was, could they take sedentary older adults and through exercise alone, make their brains function like a younger person's again?
Doing good? Yeah, 98 and 93, good, okay. I'm liking it.
69-year-old Gail Smith is one of the research participants.
It's all good.
I get there. As a retired school teacher,
good girl. Come on.
Smith knew she needed more than the occasional yoga class and playing with her dogs.
You went the wrong way.
All right, cruise.
Gail's bike neighbor, Deidre Hurley, has a similar story.
I was once active at a gym, but that was many years ago. And
like how many?
Oh, gee, 20-something years ago.
3 times a week for 12 weeks, participants take a spinning class, 20 to 45 minutes long. It's an interval aerobic workout involving low and high intensity.
Ruth, heart rate? 96. Stella?
The idea is that they're continuously pushing themselves to be a little bit outside of their comfort zone. And once they do that, they actually tend to show growth or improvements like we see in this program.
Changes in the brain are measured through blood tests taken before and after class and brain imaging. In just 12 weeks, a stunning change.
Our research is showing that the brain after exercise begins to show activity that's more similar to that of a young person.
Brains that have been showing activity on both sides were now back to lighting up on one side again.
So in a sense, yeah, we are kind of turning back the clock.
Turning back the clock, how much?
It would be fair to say about a 5 to 7 year improvement over the 12 weeks is what a person could reasonably expect on average.
A brain functioning 5 to 7 years younger after just 12 weeks. Results vary because people vary in biology and in effort. Ed Jones is a lifelong runner who was able to do the study after an injury left him unable to exercise. The results don't surprise him.
American College of Sports Medicine has a logo, exercise is medicine. And I think they're completely accurate on that. It's sort of the magic bullet.
Magic that requires effort. But in a world where youth reigns supreme and countless dollars are spent by people trying to turn back the clock, we can function as a younger version of ourselves by lacing up our shoes and getting back in the exercise saddle. There are so many things we cannot control in life, but that doesn't stop a lot of us from trying anyway. This is the sort of science that empowers us. The proof is there. Interval aerobic exercise can make your brain act younger. Who wouldn't want that? It does take away your excuse to binge watch Netflix on your couch while eating snacks. Loafing around can feel good, but to change your brain, you need to move your body. That's going to do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on Your Fantastic Mind.